following is a presentation of Main Street Media, your source for news, sports, and information on Main Street in Middle Tennessee.
Sounds like 30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee, featuring Tennessee Radio Hall of Famer George Plaster, Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame coach Watson Brown, and Young Guns Billy Derrick and Michael Sindrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome in. I'd almost gotten to the point where I had memorized the words "on a beautiful Wednesday in Nashville, Tennessee." Well, you know what? Not so fast, Lee Corso. If you're watching the show live, there is some heavy stuff moving into the Nashville area right now. In looking at the radar, they're saying 13 minutes away from Bellevue, 20 minutes away from Belmead, around 25 minutes away from both Tennessee State and Vanderbilt. It is a heavy line of red stuff. And that's your staff meteorologist giving you that little warning if you're watching the show live. For the rest of us, man, we need the rain big time. Okay, let's head up to the plateau and say hello to Coach Watson Brown. Watson, it's really sad when rain gets us this fired up.
George, meteorologist that you have become through the years, red stuff. That's a new term in the meteorologist world. Right. Red stuff.
Listen, the TV stations, they're into saying our Doppler is bigger than yours. And I knew you'd like that. And so there's a lot of that kind of stuff that goes on. They all try to show you these fancy radars, but this stuff, in fairness to all of them, this stuff has saved lives. And so good for them that it has.
Well, I just think they need to be listening to this show because they can improve themselves. I mean,
no question.
Red stuff. That's a term they can pick up now. Look at the red stuff coming from the west.
Listen, when it gets red, it's serious. Or as the cheer used to be, Watson, when you were at Vandy, I'd rather be dead than red. I would hear that at times when y'all played Alabama.
We were dead a lot.
Okay, let's move on.
There were a lot of funerals then, if that's the case, because
it got a lot.
We did lose to them a few times. Some close, some not, but we lost to them a few times.
Billy, you've been monitoring the storm as well?
Yes, I have. The red stuff is prevalent right now.
How did you monitor?
I mean, I'm just seeing a lot of red, George.
Right, because I came over and showed it to you.
Yeah, without you, I would have never known how serious this was.
Right.
I needed that meteorology expert from you.
Yeah, thank you. I can tell it really moved you.
The next team we bring in here, whether it's a baseball team, whatever, we can call them the Nashville Red Stuffs. That would be and George Plaster came up with a name. I think that'd be pretty good. The Red Stuffs.
By the way,
the mantra can be, I'd rather be red than dead.
By the way, if you're watching this live, Davidson, Cheatham, Williamson, and Dixon counties under a tornado warning. Warning.
That's serious stuff.
It just started.
Just stopped.
It started as a thunderstorm warning, so it's shifted to tornado.
That went from red stuff to serious stuff. That's a different stuff.
That is different stuff.
You need to listen to that one.
I'll keep people updated as conditions warrant. We're not laughing. We're smirking a little, but tornado warnings are nothing to laugh about.
No.
Terry McCormick joins us for his daily Titans update. Terry, congratulations on the Yankees win last night.
Thank you, George. I appreciate that. I know you're not sincere when you say that, though.
This is one time I kind of am.
Really?
You know why?
I don't have a clue.
They were my bet of the day last night.
Oh, gotcha.
And so I put all true feelings aside to get a win right now.
So
You would too
so
if
you were
you had my record.
in interest of the almighty dollar, basically.
No, I'm just talking about the Plaster bet of the day. Okay. Yesterday, we had a hard time with the connection getting with you. Tell us what's going on in the bye week with the Titans.
Well, the Titans had a practice today. That's not a practice that's open to the media, but they have a practice or had a practice scheduled for today. Once that was complete, they turned all the healthy players loose for the weekend. They don't have to report back until Monday. The ones who are still nursing injuries and rehabbing and doing those things have to stick around in order to get their necessary treatment so that they can continue that rehab and maybe get closer to being able to come back. So that's really kind of where it stands right now with the Titans as far as things go in the bye week.
Terry, I know that, 4 or 5 weeks from now, somebody will say, man, I wish we had the bye week right now, but this team desperately needs it.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. I mean, this team is beat up, battered. You know, they've already put, I think, 11 or 12 guys on IR since the start of the season. They're headed right back down the same path, it feels like, of last year when they went through an NFL record 91 players. And when you're going through that many players in a season, I think they're already up to like 64 or something like that through 5 games. You know, it's incredible that they've been able to find ways to win ball games. But yeah, they're, you know, it's almost like they could use a bye later on, but right now they'll absolutely take it just for all the injuries that have hit them at the start of the year.
Terry, are there some players in particular that you believe couldn't have played this weekend, but with this bye week will be ready when the Colts come in?
I think it's possible that they could get maybe Bud Dupree or Zach Cunningham, some of those guys back. Monty Rice, who was activated but really didn't do a whole lot, probably could be able to do a little more after the bye week. You know, Mike Brable said it's not out of the realm of possibility that they would activate Racey McMath and Elijah Molden from IR, but that's far from a certainty. So who knows if those guys will actually be ready to play when they come back from the bye, although they are eligible to be activated from injured reserve as we are now past the 4-game mark for both of them.
Watson, that bye week, I know I'll hear it in November.
Yeah.
But man, they needed it now.
Yeah, they need it, but I just think, man, it's a long haul once this bye week's over. And there's a lot of tough games to go. But to me, I'm good because they're in an easy division. If they just win their share, I think they can win the division. If they win the division, they're no worse than a 4th seed. So, I mean, just play good, solid football. The league right now looks mediocre to me. I don't see anybody that's just absolutely in front of everybody else other than maybe Buffalo. The Chiefs looked average and should have lost to the other night. We know the Raiders are just average. I don't see anybody. I don't think they ought to be losing their cooler. Oh, my God, what are we going to do? We need to change this. We need to change that. Just win their share of games and keep getting forward, keep going forward and build to the playoffs because that's what it's going to be all about anyway.
I agree with that completely, Watson. I'm going to throw something out at you guys because I'm going to write about this later in the week and kind of get your take on it. To me, throughout all these injuries and everything that they've gone through, the one constant I think is kind of really overlooked a little bit is the fact that they've been able to keep Ryan Tannehill up and available despite some messy, nasty shots he's taken in the last couple of years. The fact that he's been able to answer the bell every single week has made a big difference in this football team being able to compete week in and week out, because, you can mask losing a defensive end, losing an offensive guard, losing a safety. There are ways to scheme and mask those things. It's hard to mask losing your quarterback, the guy who is your leader, your field general, and touches the ball on virtually every snap.
Terry, the bottom line is you can take some shots at him on certain things, but the guy is tougher than Birmingham steel. This guy is tough. Watson.
That was my lead-in Monday in the analysis, Terry, is the difference in that game last Sunday was the quarterback. Ours is a whole lot tougher than theirs. Ours will sit in a pocket and throw right through people, and theirs is leaning backwards and forwards and falling sideways and flinching every time he lets a ball go. And Ryan Tannehill don't ever do that. And I think he's the epitome of the Titans. I told George Monday, the Titans to me comes from Mike. They play with great effort and they have a competitive physicality about them. I don't mean they overpower everybody, but they'll get after you. And if they get beat, they get right back up off the ground and go again. And they don't back down from anybody in that way. And I think that's Ryan Tannehill. And I think he's the epitome of that through the whole team. And I think the whole team sees that in him. That's why I think he has the respect he has within the team, and he don't make all the plays all the time. Terry, but he is highly respected on that football team.
There's your quote for the story.
Absolutely. And I agree with you, Watson, because I think, you saw how those guys rallied to his defense even after he played poorly in that playoff game. Yeah. They had his back to a man in that locker room and on that coaching staff.
Absolutely. And I think it's because of what we're talking about. They respect – he gets up every time and goes again. He don't miss games. He don't complain. You never see him like Brady over fussing at the lineman or whatever. This kid just gets up and plays. And you got to love that as a teammate, man.
Terry, we got to run.
All right. Have a good one.
Terry McCormick, Daily Titans Update, leads off the show every day during football season.
No doubt about it, George, and it's sponsored by the Justin Tucker team with Platinum Realty Partners. They are proven to be trusted with your most personal asset. Middle Tennessee's most trusted team in realty. Give them a call today at 615-906-8458. And also, don't forget about Sumner Funeral and Cremation. They are sharing their family with yours in your time of need, now with 2 convenient locations in Gallatin and Hendersonville. And find them online at sumnerfuneral.com. Okay, we start today's update with, as I scroll up here, George, Braves and Phillies, of course, in the rain delay right now. That's game 2 of the NLDS tonight. Of course, the Phillies won last night. It was supposed to start at 3:30, and the Braves have Kyle Wright on the mound. George, I ask you this.
Not anytime soon, they don't.
No, but how does this affect Kyle Wright tonight in a very important game for Atlanta?
Well, first of all, here, any of you watching this live, we've got a tornado warning for Davidson, Cheatham, Williamson, and Dixon counties with wind gusts anywhere from 55 to 65 miles per hour. So we're getting some serious stuff that's sort of heading into the Bellevue area right now. Watson, down south of here, the decision was made, an hour and a half ago. Braves, Phillies, not going to start on time. 3:30 Nashville time was when it was supposed to start. They're saying they will not start down there before 6:30 Nashville time, which is great for me. I want to see it. But in looking at the radar, it's all the way back way into Alabama. It might be a long night at Old Truist Park.
Yeah, they're trying. I'm sure they set a time that it's supposed to be through there. I see it's supposed to get to Cookville here around 6 o'clock, but it's supposed to die down a little bit as it comes up the plateaus. What it's saying on my weatherman is telling me that.
Yes, one who can go.
I bet you that's what they're doing. They know what time it's going to get through Atlanta, and they're going to start. And it's clear after it clears because it's a heavy cold front.
Yeah. Billy, as to does this help anybody? I don't know. I can't figure out. The Braves have been a significantly better team at night than they have been, during the day. I mean, go figure. I have no idea why.
Right.
And the truth of it is they don't either.
Yeah. You just hear a lot of times that's what everybody's talking about when you get a break like this, 2 to 3 hours of not doing anything for the starting pitcher. So that will be interesting, George. We've also got game 2 of Dodgers-Padres tonight. So you'll have simultaneous baseball tonight for any baseball junkies. So we'll see what time the Braves end up getting started. But, George, we've also got college basketball news. Penny Hardaway has been extended down at Memphis. He has agreed to a contract extension through the 2028 season worth $16.5 million over the life of the deal. That was announced earlier today. So Penny Hardaway, even though it hasn't been quite what Memphis fans had expected, he gets his extension.
Watson, when he got exonerated, I guess, by the independent whatever that is not the NCAA infractions committee, I guess Memphis used that as the signal to give him the extension.
Well, what I think, George, is they wanted to extend him, but they knew they couldn't until this was settled.
Right.
And so as soon as it was, I think they extended him. And I think what I see in him, I think he's going to do nothing but get better. He was very inexperienced at this when he first started, knowing rules, coaching college basketball, everything. And he's getting better and better. And I think they see that. And being one of their own, I think they wanted to extend him and keep him.
Oh, listen, from a season ticket standpoint, he's been great for that school. Yeah. It's a basketball school. I hear all they've gotten better at football, but it will always be a basketball school. And frankly, the next thing they need to do is go back to being Memphis State and bag University of Memphis.
I think you can forget that one, buddy.
Yeah, you're probably right. What else you got, Billy?
We've also got NFL news, George. Davante Adams, Raiders wide receiver, has been charged with misdemeanor assault after shoving the photographer. I thought this was interesting too, George. His name is Ryan Zebley, the photographer. He's claiming to have suffered whiplash, headaches, and a possible concussion. So that ended up being a little bit worse than I thought.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know, Watson, what to say other than you just can't do that.
I don't know what to say either. I just know I've seen those guys step in front of me many times. They once that thing starts and they got to have that look, it's tough. It's tough both ways. But the reason I say it's on the player, he understands when he becomes an NFL player, he's got to handle that kind of stuff. And you can't let the emotions of losing or not getting the ball on the last play or running a pass route and you get knocked down by one of your receivers when I think the ball was supposed to go to him on a deep post and he got knocked down. You can't let it carry over into society, and that's what he did.
Yeah. That do it?
No, we got one more, George.
One more.
A former Angels employee has gotten 22 years in the death of Tyler Skaggs. He was sentenced to 22 years for providing Skaggs the drugs that led to his overdose in Texas. So
now here's the backstory. The judge who sentenced him, he has to serve 20 years of it. And the judge came out and said that a tape that the prosecution got from a phone call while he was in prison where he basically said, Skaggs is dead, who cares? That's not real good. That's not showing the kind of remorse, and the judge absolutely nailed him. Okay, don't need to say anything, do we?
No.
Okay, let's go to the break. If you're watching this live, Davidson, Cheatham, Williamson, and Dixon counties at the moment are under tornado warnings. After the break, Billy Derrick catches up with Vanderbilt football coach Clark Lee. This is Main Street Media Television.
Buying or selling a home can be a very personal experience. Why not go with the team that receives nearly all of their business from referrals? Clearly a trusted name in real estate. The Justin Tucker team with Platinum Realty Partners has sold more than 500 homes in the last 7 years. Voted best in Sumner County multiple times. Proven to be trusted with your most personal assets. Call the Justin Tucker team with Platinum Realty Partners at 615-906-8458. The Justin Tucker team with Platinum Realty Partners, Middle Tennessee's most trusted team in realty.
I highly recommend Sumner Funeral and Cremation because of their caring nature and attentiveness to detail.
Pre-planning your funeral now will bring you peace of mind and less stress to your loved ones. When the chaos of losing you happens, your family can honor and celebrate your life, knowing things are happening just as you wanted them to. Pre-planning determines the details of your funeral, cemetery services, and can be less expensive. We are honored to serve you and are always here for you in your time of need.
Sumner Funeral and Cremation. Traditional, affordable, dignified. SumnerFuneral.com.
Jody Jones Dentistry can handle all your dental needs, from the basics to cosmetic procedures. All of this in the nicest dental facility I have ever seen. Jody has done it right. They're located conveniently at 55 Music Square East, and for an appointment, it's simple. Dial 615-259-5100 and tell them Plaz sent you. When you're thinking about golf, consider Riverside Golf Links. Under new ownership, the course has improved dramatically. It's now 27 holes, complemented by a 9-hole executive course. Book a tee time now at 615-847-5074 and get ready to enjoy the beauty of golf in the Old Hickory area at Riverside Golf Links.
I'm Bart Durham.
I was sworn in as a lawyer in 1963, and I've been working as a lawyer since then.
We're a firm that does exclusively personal injury, a lot of tractor-trailer crashes. Insurance companies will open up their checkbooks when you force them to.
We have systems that work.
We get the most money for our clients in the shortest amount of time.
I'm Blair Durham. My dad and I want to help. Give us a call at 615-242-9000.
This is Eric Berner with Rockcastle Wealth Advisors. I help people in the pursuit of making their money live as long as they do. People hire me because I use a customized, individualized, and personal approach for the person I'm working with. Everyone's situation is different. If you've lost a spouse or a parent and want to make sure your inheritance is utilized and does not just disappear, I can help with that. Call me at 615-235-1058 or email Eric at rockcastlewealth.com.
Well, the bottom line on Vandy football over the weekend was this: a really good first half that got marred by an Ole Miss touchdown right before the buzzer. So Vandy's lead at the intermission was only 20-17. They had played very good football. The second half, an absolute disaster, and Ole Miss won in a cakewalk. Now it's on to Georgia down in Athens. 2:30 start time. It won't be easy, to say the least. And Billy Derrick earlier today caught up with Vanderbilt football coach Clark Lee.
Coach, you got another SEC road test coming up on Saturday as your guys travel down to Athens, Georgia to face #1 Georgia Bulldogs. Before we talk about that matchup, as you throw in the tape of the Ole Miss loss, of course, you look at that first half, got to be pleased except for kind of that final, minute or two of that first half, kind of ending first halves a little bit better. Has that been kind of an adjustment that you guys want to do?
Yeah, I mean, we certainly, I felt like we had an opportunity in the game to really steal momentum heading into the half, and we let Ole Miss off the hook. It started with the kickoff return that put them in good position, and they were able. You want to force a team to be kind of left-handed there in a 2-minute drive, but they were almost to midfield, and they had they had all their play options available, and unfortunately we allowed for a post, which in that situation is a critical breakdown, and that set up their score. But hey, we had a 3-point lead at half, and I think we went into half and didn't necessarily lose energy as a result of that final drive. Just weren't able to get back to what had built the success in the first half, and obviously that was disappointing. And in the end, once we moved past the pain of the result, I think we look at that first half and say, this is what this team is capable of. Now, how do we capture that and replicate it and carry it forward with us?
Coach, oftentimes SEC stretches like this can challenge the culture of a program and oftentimes even define a team throughout a season. Through this stretch, right in the middle of it, what's been your message to the guys in the locker room kind of throughout it in that this could really help us down the road?
Well, we're looking for context as we experience this, and right now, we've lost 3 games against 3 top 15 teams, 2 of which are top 10 teams, and we're developing a program against the country's best right now. This will be the first time in school history we played 3 top 10 teams in consecutive weeks, and so what we're learning about ourselves is kind of the gaps we need to close, and for a young team and for a developing team, that's a challenge. But I also think we're noticing progress being made while we're in the fight here, and we expect to carry that progress down to Athens. Anytime you go through a stretch of games like this where, again, you're competing against the highest level in the country, certainly it's challenging when you don't get results, but also I think it can be formative, and certainly it's a situation where we're building to our competitive best. We're building to that highest level as a team that we've been talking about since the summer, and I'm excited to see that come to fruition this Saturday against Georgia, and I'm excited to build upon that as we close out the season in the back half of the schedule.
As of late, it looks like the offense is kind of starting to find its shape and take shape. What does that say about the work that the offensive staff with Coach Lynch and everybody in that offensive staff, but also the players, the offensive line, everybody that deserves credit? What does it say about the work that they've put in?
Well, it's impressive. I think if you would have gone back a year ago and commented on the offense, you would have seen a group that was struggling to pass protect, struggling to run the ball, struggling to find completions. And the strides that we've made in a year have everything to do with continuity, have everything to do with relationships, with good design, and with developing players. And that's a unit that's playing with some confidence right now, and they need to continue that. And we have some young playmakers that have stepped up, and we're also leaning on some veterans, and Ray Davis and Will Shepard, that have been able to play to their level, and we'll need to continue that, because on the other side of the ball, we're a work in progress, and it's I think there's been some good defensively. I think the one thing that I take week in, week out is that we play really hard, but in the end, that's not the objective, that's the standard. We're looking to play defense that allows us to win games, and we haven't been able to do that here in the conference yet. But again, this is a great opportunity for us this weekend, and we just have to focus on continuing to improve our team and to continue to make that progress internally, because for us, the trajectory is there, and we're excited about the opportunities we have, including this weekend, to find, again, that highest level as a team.
Coach, I remember talking to you when we first talked before the season even started. You described this team as a young team that's trying to find themselves, and young players have seen opportunities and been received those opportunities. What does it say that a guy like Jaden McGowan offensively makes a play like he did on the sideline, and even a younger guy like DeRicky Wright is starting to step into his own? So, the young players, how do you balance the fact that you want to put your best players out there, but you also want to help them gain experience?
Well, we're focused on putting the best 11 on the field, and we feel like the young players that we're playing, represent that best 11. We need to close spaces on defense. We need to create explosive plays on offense. We have guys that can do that. The experience is important because the game slows down. And so, again, in the first half, you've got a sequence where, we have a quarters coverage and Duricky Wright closes the middle and we force the quarterback off his mark and we play from a dominant position, an aggressive position, and Duricky makes an interception. It's a big play for this program in that moment. That he is capable of that. And so now taking the things he did in that sequence to set up the play, now it's again about replicating that process and carrying it forward. The play that Jaden made was something we've seen from him in fall camp and in practice, and it was exciting to see him get a chance to do it on that stage, and we expect more of it from him. I think getting Quincy Skinner back and Gamarian Carter back and having Will Shepard doing what he's doing has given us a chance to really feature Jaden in ways that fit his strengths, and again, I'm excited to watch him continue to grow and hopefully make more plays like that.
Coach, you've had many defensive challenges, of course, with teams that you faced. I love asking you about the defensive aspect of football with Georgia. Obviously, they're a little bit different than what they did last year, but they still want to establish the run. But they run the ball in different ways. We talked about Ole Miss and how they run it. They'll also run it with their tight end. Yeah. So what's the challenge of facing a Georgia team, both offensively but also with their defense?
Well, they offensively, their quarterback's really good and he's really confident, and it's fun to watch him at work. He's athletic, so he can extend plays, and he's been able to score points and be explosive on the ground. The tight ends are really, really good, and they have they feature them in a nice way and over patterns and in finding voids and zones. We're going to have to be disciplined and we're going to have to be on body, and we're going to have to make plays on the ball. They also have the ability to open up the shot game in their passing attack too. And so some of the ways we've been challenged this season, one-on-ones on the perimeter, eye discipline, double moves, that'll show up on Saturday as well. And so we need to put that together in the secondary while also fitting our structures and stopping the run, because they have the ability to be explosive in that facet as well. So it's a multifaceted offense that runs through the quarterback and the tight ends, and it'll be a unique challenge to bottle them up. Different than some of the more spread-oriented attacks that we've faced, but equally challenging. Their defense, I think, is a group that is well coached. They play well together. They play hard. They have a good scheme, and Coach Smart's done a nice job recruiting and developing on defense there. And so they really haven't skipped a beat. They eliminate space quickly. It's hard to get room on them. So we're going to have to be creative in design, and our playmakers are going to have to step up and make plays. And I know our guys are excited to do that. So I look forward to watching them do it.
Got another SEC test on the road for Vanderbilt as they head down to Athens to face the Georgia Bulldogs. We got Coach Lee here to preview it. Coach, thanks for taking the time.
Great to be with you.
Okay, we'll do this. What we will do is come back and talk the good and the bad, and we'll start with a positive after the break in this freshman, A.J. Swan, the quarterback. This guy can play. And now the question is, how do they keep him? I'll talk with Watson about that when we come back. This is Main Street Media Television.
For Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly, they welcome every opportunity to serve and satisfy their clients. Whether you are looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and remodel is unique, luxurious, completed on time, and within budget. Contact them today to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects by logging on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
At WellSkin Dermatology and Aesthetics, we pride ourselves in providing access, innovation, and a patient experience second to none. Access to care and treatment when you need it. Innovation with medical-led cosmetics and various on-site technologies for full-service treatments with a customer experience that is calming, casual, and effective. Independently owned, providing medical, surgical, pediatric, and cosmetic dermatology and more. Visit wellskinmd.com to schedule your appointment today. WellSkin Dermatology and Aesthetics. Access to healthier skin. It's your last chance to get a spring tune-up for summer. Complete Service Heat and Air can clean your coils, check out your motor, and make sure you have cold air on that first hot day of summer. Complete Service Heat and Air is located in White Bluff, Tennessee. We do service and repair on heating and air the right way. 24/7 service. Call us at 615-797-3997. That's 615-797-3997. Serving Cheatham, Davidson, Dixon, Hickman, Humphreys, Montgomery, and Williamson counties. Have you heard about the high levels of radon in Middle Tennessee? Radon gas is the second leading cause of lung cancer, second only to smoking, and has no color, no taste, and no smell. The only way to know if you have radon is to test for it. Duret Radon Mitigation offers testing for small and large-scale residential and commercial properties, plus mitigation services. Visit DuretRadonMitigation.com to request testing or get a free estimate for mitigation. That's DuretRadonMitigation.com. Since 1865, the First Baptist Church of Gallatin on Winchester Street has served its community by catering to the least, the last, and the lost, providing a church of welcome used by God to save the lost, transform the saved, and impact its community. As a proud multi-ethnic congregation, Pastor Derek Jackson personally welcomes you to join them in fellowship Sunday mornings at 8 in person or at 10:45 in person or online at firstbaptistgallatin.org. First Baptist Gallatin on Winchester Street, serving with open arms as a true church of welcome.
last 5 minutes than we have had in the last month. And part of it, if it doesn't get really severe, is nice because we definitely need the rain. So to our shock, we're back on. And Watson, let's see if we can bring him up. Watson, can you hear me okay?
Absolutely.
Okay. So let's talk a little Vanderbilt. I sit there and I watch A.J. Swan Saturday, and the book on him, he's a kid from down in Georgia. They had to fight off Maryland to get him. He was apparently priority number one is what I'm hearing in their recruiting stuff in the winter. So they've got themselves a guy that I believe is a Division I quarterback in virtually any way you want to slice it. He can run some. He's got just a rocket for an arm. He's accurate. So he's got all the stuff you want. That's a piece of the rebuild for Clark Lee that for the moment, he's A-okay. But then the thought hits me, okay, how do they keep him? Because anybody that's any good that's looking for a quarterback is going to have this tape of the first half of the Ole Miss game and go, whoa, look at this. We need to reach out and we need to see, is he willing to go through 3 more years of this, or would he rather come to us?
Well, I think that's a little premature. He's got to, nobody's going to take a half a game tape and put their whole program on that. They're not going to do that. But if he keeps playing well in time, sooner or later they might deal with that. That's the way of the business now. I might not be the best one to talk about that because I never went through it.
Right.
It's a different world right now that everybody's grabbing everybody's players. And I do know from listening to other coaches, there's illegalities going on. I mean, all you got to do is find somebody within structure, family, that you could get word to that this team will take you if you go to the transfer portal. I mean, it's tough. And I think if I was a coach, I wouldn't bring it up. I wouldn't even go there. I just keep coaching him and let it play itself out. Now, if I catch wind of it in some way, then you may have to re-recruit him a little bit. I mean, it's a shame that you recruit one to come and play for you, and then you got to recruit him again after he gets there. But, this transfer portal, George, has changed college football. I think it's changed it even more in NIL. It's serious business. Alabama's bringing a very good running back to Knoxville, Tennessee that was a good player on a poor team. That left and left Georgia Tech and went to Alabama, and he's playing fantastic for the Tide right now. This is kind of the going thing. And but I think if I was a coach, I wouldn't even come close to addressing it till there's a reason to address it. I wouldn't even think about that. The young man's a good player, but we got to see. There's a lot of football left to see. The more you get hit, the you get through that. There's a lot on the table here, and he's just a true freshman. I think he's going to be a really good player, but a lot of water under the bridge just yet before we can go there.
He's got a couple of nice pieces around him. I've always thought the wide receivers are the easiest place to be equal to other people if you're a Vandy. But then Watson, I look on the defensive end, and they've given up more than 50 to Alabama, more than 50 to Ole Miss, probably going to give up a bunch in Athens. So there's the problem. Defensively, they don't stack.
I just think it's too early. He's about between 1/4 and 1/5 of the way to where he needs to be. I've said it to you a bunch of times. He's got to keep recruiting. He's got to keep developing, keep recruiting and keep developing. And then as they get older, maybe he can put a football team together that can compete in the SEC. And that's all you can ask for. I mean, he said today, we're playing top 10 teams. You're going to play top 10 teams when you're playing in the SEC. It's going to happen. And he knows that. I'm not saying anything he doesn't know. And it's just the way it is. To me, if I'm Clark, I'm Coach Lee, I keep the blinders on, keep doing what I'm doing, and don't let things now that happen to you now affect what you're going to do down the road. The only thing he needs to do now, and I think you got to be careful with this. If you recruit a good freshman class, let's say it's two freshman defensive linemen that are playing right now, good players, but they're not playing up to SEC standard, you can't just say, well, then I got to recruit a better player. No, maybe you got a good enough player. Now, the second piece of that is developing.
Sure.
He lives in that weight room. You teach him football. You teach him toughness. You teach him competitiveness. And before you know it, by the time he's a junior, he's what you want. What I mean by that, don't lose your patience and say, that's not a good enough player. We got to go recruit an even better player. I think his first class, what I call his first class, was this year. It's a very solid class. Now, can he develop that class and depth, George? You can't win with a one solid unit in the SEC. What have I said to you 1,000 times? It's not playing Alabama. It's playing Alabama, then Ole Miss, then Georgia, then LSU, then Florida. It's week after week after week. You can't handle that with 22 kids. So this is a process for him, and I think it's going to take 2 more really good classes before he can tell really where he is.
Okay, I want to get to what I'm guessing will be a teaching moment. And this is why I ask you this. 20-10 Vandy, 1:20 left in the first half, and they're about to kick to Ole Miss. And if they go in up 20-10, man, that sends some shockwaves. But I turned to somebody next to me and I said, if Ole Miss scores here, this is going to get ugly. Ole Miss scores, 10, 15 seconds left in the half, 20-17. They've taken Vandy's best punch, and they go into the locker room having sleptwalk. But Watson, my point is, those kids needed to know in the first half how to close the deal. And the truth of it is, they haven't been in a position to experience it. Does that become a teaching moment?
Well, it can become a confident moment. You have to learn to get through that and make the plays. They were caught in a quarters coverage to the field where that corner is one-on-one. If you run the inside receiver on some kind of inside deeper route and you take the outside guy and run a deep post, that's exactly what Ole Miss did. That corner has to make that play. That goes to recruiting, developing, and poise and confidence and poise, as I like to say it, comes into play. And the corner got isolated one-on-one. He got beat really good. Kid makes the catch, and they go in and score. So, I mean, yes, but it's a development piece, George. It's hard to keep getting beat and gain confidence.
Yeah.
Sooner or later, that kid's got to start making plays. When he starts making some plays, which if he's good enough, he will, and then everything starts growing from there. It's so hard when you lose. Everybody says, man, you learn so much from losing. No, that's not always true. I always thought I could teach my guys and be much harder on them when we won.
Mm-hmm.
Than when we lose. You got to be careful. They're fragile. They're hurting just like you are. And if you go after them in a negative, competitive way right then, I'm not sure that helps. So Clark's got a lot to deal with here in the next few years. And I think he's off to a good start at what he's doing. But it's a process, man. And the minute that he loses it and starts getting away from his thought processes, then he's going to head in the wrong direction. I think recruit, develop, keep coaching the fool out of them, and in 3 years, into the fourth year, going into the fourth year, he'll know where he is. I did. He will know too.
Watson, you'll like this. I know you talk about learning moments. This weekend, A.J. Swann's going to learn a lot playing on another SEC road test in Athens. He's set to become only the second SEC true freshman quarterback to start 3 straight games against AP top 10 teams. So, I mean, you got to believe as a freshman quarterback, I know, Vandy's going to lose these games in this SEC stretch, but you got to believe, I mean, you're playing Alabama at Alabama and Georgia at Georgia in your first year. I mean, that's got to help a little bit for him, and just in terms of learning what that's like.
Well, there ain't many quarterbacks done that because there ain't many quarterbacks playing the SEC. You're not going to be playing 3 straight top 10 teams unless you're in the SEC.
Right.
That's the only conference that's going to have that. And very seldom do you have that anyway. Very seldom are there 3. Right now there's 4. Tennessee's the 4th one, and they're going to catch them down the road here in a little bit. But, yeah, there's a lot you learn, but it's very important that Coach Lee controls how all of his coaches approach the players through this, Billy. You can't go in there and browbeat them when they're losing, and you just can't do it. And you want to because you're so competitive and you want to get them better. Come on, man, you can do better than this. You better be careful through that. I don't care if it's top 10 or not. I don't care if you played one of them really good. I did that a bunch in Nashville. I played a bunch of teams really good, but I walked off the field with an L. And that just grows on you on Sunday and Monday and Tuesday. Then you play another one the next week. And it's a fine line to get over that hump, guys. Mm-hmm. I just think right now he's got to keep doing what he's doing because he can't be judged yet, in my personal opinion. Everybody says, well, if he wins one this year, I don't look at it that way. He's not there yet. If he sneaks a couple out here or whatever, okay. But that don't mean he's there either. It's a long process, and right now recruiting and developing is his biggest piece.
No, but Watson, I'll argue this one thing. What little fan base they have needs some morsel of encouragement.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying how to judge him. I'm not saying a win doesn't help the fan base and all that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about judging Coach Lee right now. If you want to judge him right now, it's a crapshoot. A little early. It's a crapshoot. He's not good enough, in my opinion, to be judged. If he sneaks a couple of wins out, great for the fan base. Everybody will say they're on their way, but that don't also mean they're on their way.
Okay,
it's a long, long haul, and he needs a lot more players than he's got right now.
Stop there, because stat of the day, I know you're thrilled and excited that that's coming. Yeah, it'll make us look like a fool. This is Main Street Media Television.
Serving Williamson and surrounding counties, Bone and Joint Institute of Tennessee offers comprehensive orthopedic care with 16 subspecialized physicians. Our practice provides high-tech care with a hometown touch. We offer physician clinics, physical and occupational therapy, advanced imaging, and surgical services, including interventional procedures. Call us at 615-791-2630. We're Bone and Joint Institute of Tennessee. High-tech care with a hometown touch.
This is attorney Bart Durham, and this is me. I'm Aaliyah. Keeping in good physical condition is really important to me. But when I had a wreck with a tractor-trailer truck that hurt my legs so bad I couldn't work for almost a year, I knew I needed a lawyer that understood tractor-trailer cases. So I called Bart. Bart gets millions of dollars for his clients every year.
At Bart Durham Injury Law, we've handled hundreds of tractor-trailer cases.
My dad and I want to help. Give us a call at 615-242-9000.
The high school football season is here, and nobody handles Friday nights better than Main Street Media. Here's Zach Womble with details.
That's the name of the game here at Main Street Media and Main Street Preps. Is, we've been doing this for a long time now, and I think you hit on it. We've got an army of reporters across all of Middle Tennessee. I think there's about 130 schools in the Middle Tennessee area, and we try to cover all of them. We cover about 11, 12 counties at this point. And those Friday night shows, it's we're gonna show that off. We're gonna showcase the talent that we have on the field with reporters across several mid-state games on the weekly basis. So whether you're in Williamson County, whether you're in Giles County or Murray County or Montgomery or Robertson or anywhere in between, we're gonna have you covered from 6 to 11.
Friday Night Live is presented by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, where fans don't let fans drive drunk.
Welcome to the Omni Nashville Hotel. Urban elegance with a vintage touch. Our 800-room hotel opened up in the fall of 2013 with 746 guest rooms and 54 suites.
Hey everyone, I'm John English. This is Keith Wallace, and we would like to welcome you to John English Antique Sports and Cards in Shelbyville, Tennessee. We specialize in graded and ungraded sports and non-sports cards, vintage wax boxes, and unopened cases. We have a large selection of PSA graded cards. We also specialize in old sports collectibles, baseball, football, basketball, golf, and tennis. You can find it all at John English Antique Sports and Cards. We are happy to be associated with Nashville's greatest sports antique, George Plaster.
Welcome back into the George Plaster Show. We lost power, so no music quite in and out of the breaks anymore. But we've still got
fun.
We've still got Stat of the Day coming right at you. Brought to you by John English Antique Sports and Cards, as well as Eric Berner with Rockcastle Wealth Advisors. You can find John English over in Shelbyville, Tennessee. If you can get through this rain right now, you can visit them Tuesdays through Fridays from noon to 5 o'clock, and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5. Visit them online at johnenglishgradedcards.com. Also, shoot Eric Berner a call over with Rockcastle Wealth Advisors. His number, 615-490-7052, or log on to their website. That's rockcastlewealth.com for more information. Okay, that brings us to today's stat of the day, George and Watson. 30 years ago today, which professional athlete became the first player to suit up for an NFL and MLB game on the same day?
Oh, not only do I have it, Watson.
That's got to be Dion, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Boom. That's the quickest one.
So here's what went on. Supposedly, the Braves had no idea that he was going down to Miami to play in an NFL football game. They were none too happy about it. They were playing, I want to say, game 2 of their National League, championship series thing with the Pirates. Back then, it was still 2 divisions. Pittsburgh won the East, Atlanta, in a miracle, won the West. And so now they're in game 2 of a 7-game series against the Pirates up in Pittsburgh. And so after the game, dog tired, he rents whatever, private plane, and flies up from Miami to Pittsburgh. And the Braves were none too happy about it because, at that point, they had a lineup that was Otis Nixon in center, who could fly as their leadoff hitter, a former Nashville Sound. Dion batting second in right field. He could fly. They were a team that was running like crazy. And anyway, if I remember correctly, I'm trying to think. I don't remember if they won or lost that game. Anyway, it's 30 years ago today. Wow.
Will there be another athlete to the level of Dion? I know Bo Jackson was up there, in terms of what he did.
Oh, yeah, he was.
But, those two guys, I mean, I don't know that there will ever be players like that.
Who would be next close? Brian Jordan?
I will strongly say there will be another athlete do it. Athletes get better and better as they come out now. They're better athletes than they were when I was coming out. I mean, there will be another athlete that can do both of these.
Yeah, but Watson, will teams allow that arrangement?
Who said If they're good enough, they will. They did Bo. They did Dion. I say yes. There will be another athlete. Maybe not be in our lifetime, George, but in Billy's lifetime, there will be another one do it.
Hopefully, I get
not that you're going to die tomorrow, George. I don't want that.
Ooh, that got dark.
Wow, it really did. I mean,
but I ask because we've seen the possibility with a guy like Kyler Murray before. And other guys, but it just hasn't happened yet.
Hold on a second. I don't see Watson getting up in the eulogy going, he was a great man. He was a Hall of Famer.
Well, I would, George. Yes,
you know what? I'll slip you some money.
Okay.
Just reach into the casket and see what's there. Okay, we've lost. This is where we need to lose power. So are we now officially into the 5 o'clock, even though it's 5:03?
We are. We've been in the 5 o'clock hour a few minutes here, and it is brought to you by Middle Tennessee Bone and Joint. They combine state-of-the-art orthopedic service with a family atmosphere. Whether it's a sports injury, sprained ankle, or a major joint replacement, MTBJ has the staff, training, and equipment needed to take care of any patient in any circumstance. Log on to their website at mtbj.net for more information.
Okay, we're going to get into some issues in the National Football League that have really reared their ugly head in the last week or so and have got people scratching their head. Now, having never been a defensive lineman anywhere but 5th grade Gray Y, I don't have the total perspective here, but
you think?
I'll say this.
I couldn't pass on that one now. I just couldn't pass on that one.
For the record, I didn't like getting hit. And the NFL,
honestly, nobody does, George.
No, I would have been great as a quarterback because the way they've got it right now, nobody can breathe on anybody. So are we right? Are we now prepared to show example number 1?
Yes. You want the Tom Brady one?
This is the Tom Brady one. Sunday against Atlanta. We've slow-moed it for good reason. Oh my God, he got breathed on. Watson, what is a defensive lineman supposed to do at this point?
Nothing. There's nothing you can do. He didn't pick him up and slam him. He grabbed him around the waist and rolled with him. Just watch. He didn't sling him. He rolled with him. He gets him around the waist and they both roll. He rolls him down. He don't lay on top of him. He don't get on top of him and point a finger. This is nothing but Tom Brady totally intimidating a referee. That's it. I'm telling you. That's all that is. That's ridiculous.
That was at a point in the game where the Falcons had rallied to get to.
And they may win the game.
Yeah,
they're punting right here.
They've gotten to within 21-15. And now, because Tampa keeps the football, basically the game is over.
Watch Tom at the end of this. Kick the kid.
He wasn't happy.
Watch him kick the guy.
Should have been called on Tom.
There's nothing the kid did. He don't lay on him. He don't do anything. And as the kid's getting off of him, quickly he gets off of him. And Tom kicks him. If you watch it all the way through. Right there, he kicks at him. And
wow.
This one to me, oh yeah, this is ridiculous. This is the Tom Brady intimidation right here.
Oh, there's no question about it.
And I have, if they're not going to change this, George, have you got the other one to show too?
Oh yeah, we're going to do that.
You want to show that first and then talk about it, or talk about?
So the next one is this Derek Carr play Monday night at Arrowhead. And this results in a fumble. You're going to see a better angle of this. Watch closely. Chris Jones on a strip sack gets the football and has the audacity to tackle Derek Carr, who probably, when he saw this film, ended up laughing, going, "Are you kidding me?" What is a defensive lineman to do there?
This one isn't as bad as the Brady one, but what else can he do? He's going for the ball. First thing he does is not put his helmet in the back of the car. What's the first thing he does when he gets there? He goes for the ball. Watch. He reaches for the ball, his arm for the ball, and all he's thinking about as he tackles him is get the ball. He's not laying on top of him. He's not jamming him in the ground. There's nothing this kid else can do.
Okay, let me ask.
If they're going to keep it this way, guys, if they're going to keep it this way, they've got to instant replay this. That's the only thing they can do. And as soon as they do, they're going to overrule the call. You can't keep if you're going to keep the calls the way these officials, and it's referees doing it, if these referees are going to make these calls like this, it's got to go up to the box and be overruled. Both of those are overruled on the spot if they decide to send it to the box. And I think that's all you can do, or change the rule. I understand what they're doing. You want these quarterbacks to play every week.
Sure you do.
These fans want to see these quarterbacks play. And that's what they're trying to do. I get it. I think they should. A long season like these NFL guys play. I wish they'd do more of this in college, personally, and protect these college quarterbacks better. But this is ridiculous. And if this is what the referees are being trained to do, George and Billy, then they got to send it upstairs. They got to send it. To me, treat it like a fumble. What do these officials do on a fumble now?
They
call it a fumble. Okay, you want to call this, and there's doubt in your mind, call it.
Call it, and then go upstairs to either verify
and overrule it. Both of these are overruled on the spot.
Okay, I get what they're trying to do. They want to keep in the last 3 years the Drew Breeses, the Bradys, the stars that you're paying the money to see. They want them there. They're not as interested in you seeing Josh McCown. I get that. Did you like that one?
That was a good one.
Yeah. They're not as interested in you seeing Blaine Gabbert. Did you like that one?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. But Watson, here's the part I don't get. Okay. These officials at some point, and I realize this is easy for me to say because I have never been down there in the heat of battle as a referee. But where is their common sense to say to themselves, what is this guy supposed to do?
You know, George, what I've learned about officiating and the higher levels you go, more so, they're trained animals. They're trained. That everything is by the book. These NFL, they all season, they're okay now. This is blah, blah, and they're trained by the book. And I think the book don't let them have common sense. So if they see a guy fall on a guy, if they see a body fall on the quarterback, if they see a body roll over and think he might have slung him to the ground when that kid didn't do that, then they're trained animals, in my opinion. We're all animals, but they're trained animals. And I don't think by the rule they're playing by, we're going to see this more. If they want to save the season in some ways, I'm not sure they don't need to deal with this right now.
Yeah.
Right now, come up with a way to say, we need a second look at this.
Okay, you've hit the real answer, which is you're going to have to take this play to review. That is the only thing ultimately that is going to decide this. And you've made a really good point here that is really sad. In the NFL, they are a bunch of trained robots who are not allowed to think, are not allowed to decide degree of aggressiveness. You know the difference between pile driving and those two plays we just saw. And yet they're apparently either too scared to differentiate. I mean, I'm just amazed.
I think there is so much emphasis on protect these quarterbacks, protect these quarterbacks, protect these quarterbacks, that referee starts that game, protect these quarterbacks, protect these quarterbacks. And it cost one team a chance to win, and the Chiefs won, but barely. And that play hurt. That was third down again. That was punt the ball. And both of those plays are just, and you and I sitting here as fans watching it say, that's ridiculous. But we don't know what's been trained, what's been put in the head of these referees on these kind of calls. And okay, lean toward the quarterbacks, but have a second way to get a second look at it. And wouldn't you think if both of those two weren't overturned, then I don't even know if you need a review. If that's the way they're going to call it, I don't know how you play defensive line anymore.
I don't either.
George,
I mean, you might as well.
How do you get him on the ground? How do you
might
tackle
as well
him?
at this point put a skirt on the quarterback and then make it two-hand touch?
I don't know. Next thing we're going to have to do, I guess, is put flags on them, and you got to grab the flag. If you're a defensive lineman, you can't touch him. You just grab the flag. I don't know. It's just ridiculous to me, and this is going to get worse instead of better because we had two this week.
Okay, I'm gonna throw one thing. You're not going to agree with this.
Okay.
One of the more disappointing aspects of the first play, if I'm Arthur Smith, I am all the way out to the logo at midfield, absolutely ripping that officiating staff, and he didn't.
No.
I mean, if I'm one of Atlanta's defenders, I'm like, where the hell is my coach? Why isn't he out here, trying to help us? I mean, the game's lost. The play has allowed Tampa to have the football to close out the game. Why isn't Arthur Smith either jumping off that pirate ship in the end zone in Tampa or hauling butt out to midfield and just chewing the referee to the point that it is that he makes such a scene that the NFL gets forced to do something to him, but his players are like, by golly, my coach has got my back.
No, I said trained animals, trained robots is probably a better way to say it. So is the coach. He's a trained robot. And the NFL says, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this. We'll find the fool out of you if you do. If you notice, neither one of them said anything after the game. And Andy Reid said when he was asked, you're trying to bait me into a major big fine here, and I ain't going for it. That's what Andy Reid said after the game. But you're trying to bait me into a big fine, and I'm not going for it.
Okay, but you know what's stupid about that? Arthur Blank's got enough money from here to the coast.
Yeah.
So what? So
something's got to give with it, George. And you may be onto it. Maybe these coaches have just got to start raising Cain about it.
Oh, they absolutely.
Because it's going to happen again. I'm telling you, it was two different referees in two different games. They look very similar. Brady's was even worse to me. I mean, Brady didn't even hit the ground.
No.
At least the Chiefs guy fell on the top of the Raiders quarterback a little bit.
Carr.
But Brady don't even hit the ground hard. And he's the one that should have had the flag.
Yeah.
He kicked at the kid. And there's no reason to, because I thought the kid was very nice to him.
Well,
in the way he tackled him.
But Tom controls the league, and that play sort of proved it.
That one, I said, that was nothing but Bradyism. That's
okay.
it.
After the break, we're going to get into the second piece of what went on this weekend. The analytics people have lost their minds. They have overdosed on stupid pills, and we will talk about it next on mainstream media television.
Buying or selling a home can be a very personal experience. Why not go with the team that receives nearly all of their business from referrals? Clearly a trusted name in real estate. The Justin Tucker team with Platinum Realty Partners has sold more than 500 homes in the last 7 years. Voted best in Sumner County multiple times. Proven to be trusted with your most personal assets. Call the Justin Tucker team with Platinum Realty Partners at 615-906-8458. The Justin Tucker team with Platinum Realty Partners, Middle Tennessee's most trusted team in realty.
I highly recommend Sumner Funeral and Cremation because of their caring nature and attentiveness to detail.
Pre-planning your funeral now will bring you peace of mind and less stress to your loved ones. When the chaos of losing you happens, your family can honor and celebrate your life, knowing things are happening just as you wanted them to. Pre-planning determines the details of your funeral, cemetery services, and can be less expensive. We are honored to serve you and are always here for you in your time of need.
Sumner Funeral and Cremation. Traditional, affordable, dignified. SumnerFuneral.com.
Jody Jones Dentistry can handle all your dental needs, from the basics to cosmetic procedures. All of this in the nicest dental facility I have ever seen. Jody has done it right. They're located conveniently at 55 Music Square East, and for an appointment, it's simple. Dial 615-259-5100 and tell them Plaz sent you. When you're thinking about golf, consider Riverside Golf Links. Under new ownership, the course has improved dramatically. It's now 27 holes, complemented by a 9-hole executive course. Book a tee time now at 615-847-5074 and get ready to enjoy the beauty of golf in the Old Hickory area at Riverside Golf Links.
I'm Bart Durham.
I was sworn in as a lawyer in 1963, and I've been working as a lawyer since then.
We're a firm that does exclusively personal injury, a lot of tractor-trailer crashes. Insurance companies will open up their checkbooks when you force them to.
We have systems that work.
We get the most money for our clients in the shortest amount of time.
I'm Blair Durham. My dad and I want to help. Give us a call at 615-242-9000.
This is Eric Berner with Rock Castle Wealth Advisors. I help people in the pursuit of making their money live as long as they do. People hire me because I use a customized, individualized, and personal approach for the person I'm working with. Everyone's situation is different. If you've lost a spouse or a parent and want to make sure your inheritance is utilized and does not just disappear, I can help with that. Call me at 615-235-1058 or email Eric at rockcastlewealth.com.
So I'm trying to figure out by Billy's music, is this about the Braves or the Kansas City Chiefs?
Well, this is about the Braves.
Okay.
Scheduled
What do we
start
got?
time, 6:30.
Yeah, for those who are watching this live, about a 3-hour rain delay is what everybody thought would happen. They were supposed to start at 3:30 Nashville time, so they're going 6:30.
Yep, 6:30 tonight.
Watson, I'll be home chopping.
You be chopping, brother.
We'll be chopping.
Does this
You'll be a nervous chop?
Does this affect your bet of the day? Because they were going to start at 3:30.
You know what?
Oh, don't give him ideas now.
Yeah.
But this is a big game, George. I don't, do you want to be involved in this?
Yes, I do.
Okay, you may need.
I do.
There may be a switch.
There might be. We'll figure that out during the next commercial break. So Watson, I want to go to the fourth quarter of the Chiefs-Raiders game at Arrowhead, where I believe the analytics people absolutely lost their minds And as I brought up yesterday, one of the things that's a little disturbing is that the coach gets caught in the press conference trying to explain this stupidity. And you never, the analytics weasels never make it down to the podium. They're up there with their little notebooks and their calculators. There's an 87% chance this will work. And the owners, it appears to me, are stupid enough to be forcing the coaches to take this analytics crap as gospel. So let's take item number one. Somewhere, and I don't have the exact time in this, but the Chiefs score a touchdown to go up 7, pending the extra point. Instead, they don't kick the extra point, and they decide to go for 2. And I hear Troy Aikman say, well, if they made this, it's suddenly a 2-possession game. Watson, I'm just sitting there shaking my head going, are you kidding me? This is stupid.
Well, and I think there's one worse than that later.
Oh, yeah, we're going to get to it.
Yeah, I mean,
so
I don't know when you want to delve into this, George, but the first thing that you said that I would be adamant about, I guess I wouldn't last very long, but it's the coach's football team. And if he is answering to an owner that he's going to make decisions off of this because the owner tells him, I want you to, ain't no way. Don't you think that's absolutely going on in Denver? I don't know. But if I'm a coach, I can't imagine a coach having an owner say, you make decisions by what this guy tells you. I'm going on the spot. I'm not doing that. I'm just maybe I believe in analytics, but an owner telling me you use these analytics every time you make these decisions, no way. It's my firing. It's me going in front of those press people, as you're saying. It's not the analytics people, and it ain't the owner. It's me, and it's on me. It's my signature. I don't care who you want to blame it on or say. It goes right to the head coach, and it goes on his resume. Ain't no way I'm doing that unless I believe it's the right thing to do. Now, I do think there's coaches that in the country that are starting to say it's the right thing to do. I think that's the next thing we fix it to talk about.
Right. But, Watson, here's one of the things that a coach said to me. I'm not going to say who it is, but the coach said, I've never made a lot of money in my life. I'm now making over $1 million a year. And if this is what it's going to take for me to get this paycheck, even though I don't agree, I'm going to do it.
Wow. I guess we all got a price at some point, but I don't know how that's.
You wouldn't believe it if I told you off the air who said it.
No, I'm not trying to judge. I'm trying to tell you how I would feel. To me, I would look at that as letting my team down. I'm doing something for money that I don't think's best for them, but I'm going to do it anyway. That's the way I would look at that. I just don't want to be bought. That again, taking no shots at any coach. I'm talking about me. And if I was told you want to keep your job, you do this, and I don't feel it's the right thing to do, maybe I say, okay, but then I get in a game and I get to a point where I know it's not, I don't feel it's the right thing to do, but I go ahead and do it anyway. I don't think I could sleep that night, George. I'm letting all those players down by not making a decision that their boss thinks I should be the one making that decision. And I don't know. That's the way I look at it. And I'm for sure not taking any shots at whoever you're talking about. I don't mean it in a personal way.
Don't you think that ended up happening last Thursday night in Denver?
I mean, it's hard for me to say.
Well, when the coach says in the press conference, I was given the go-ahead.
By the analyst.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nathaniel Hackett, who right now looks a little clueless and a little overmatched. They brought in, I want to say this right, they brought in a guy off of John Harbaugh's staff in Baltimore who apparently is an expert at this kind of stuff to help Hackett, who has looked lost. And Hackett in the post-game press conference said, when asked, why did you go for it on fourth down instead of kicking what really was kind of a chip shot, about a 20-yard field goal, he said, I was given the go-ahead. Really?
Yeah. That's kind of passing
given
the buck.
The go-ahead?
To me, that's passing the buck. That's not taking responsibility as the head coach and take the good with the bad, and this is on me. I made the call. He's saying, well, this guy told me it's the right thing to do. I look at that again. I got to be careful here because I don't mean to get personal, but to me, that's an inexperienced coach that don't know what to do. I was a head coach for 32 years. There's probably nothing that I hadn't been through. So I'm going to be a little harder on the other side. I've lost my share of games, okay? And that's what somebody can come back and say, well, you lost a lot of games. Yeah, I did. But I gained a lot of experience through it. So maybe I look at this different than these young coaches do, George. But dang, I go back to what I just said. How in the world do you put it off of some analyst sitting up in a box to make a decision for 53 football players and their families and making more money when you get to the playoffs and all of the things that go into this? I want it on me. I'm the one getting paid to make the decisions for the team. I want it on me. And if it isn't good, I'm going to take credit for it. I'll say it. Bad call. I've said that many times in my life. And so I'm different with this now. You're talking to a dude that's not for these analytics whatsoever, and we're going to get into why I'm not for them here in a little bit too. But anyway, so you might need to get a guy sitting next to me here to give the other side of this, because I'm not going to give the other side. I don't see the other side.
You never in your coaching career really had to deal with this.
Yeah, I had to deal with it a bunch. But not analytics. I had to make decisions they're making.
Oh, I know that. But what I'm saying is UAB didn't hire an analytics guy. So I'm going to ask the question, even though it's personal. Does North Carolina have an analytics guy?
I have no clue because I've never cared enough about it to ask.
Well, okay, let me try.
I'll ask. I'll find out.
Let me try it this way. Do you think Mac, at this age in his career, would allow himself to be told by some analytics weasel what it is he's going to do in game situations? Are you going to go for two against Clemson? Or are you going to – you remember that game that – I mean, I just don't buy it.
Absolutely not. I mean, I laugh at that. Somebody's going to tell Mac what decision to make? You got to be kidding me. That ain't happening.
Right.
Now, I'm going to take shots at myself here a little bit. When I was an offensive coordinator, I was much more of a go-for-it guy and looser than I was when I was a head coach.
Agree.
And thank you. And I look back on it now, and I was not aggressive enough in going for fourth downs and doing those type things as a head coach. When I was a coordinator, I'm in the coach's ear. We can make this. We can make this. We can make this. And so I got I let the head coach piece get me too conservative.
Mm-hmm.
And if in my next life, and I'm a coach again, which if I did it twice, I would be an idiot. But if I'm in my next life and I'm a coach again, I would be totally different with this. I would be much more what I see that Lane Kiffin be. He is much more of a riverboat gambler. The places I coached, George, that were always underdogs, I've told you, I've gone back probably 80% of my games I was an underdog in. Then why wouldn't I be more aggressive than I was? So I'm taking shots at myself here, but at the same time, I wouldn't be more aggressive with an analytic guy telling me to be. That wouldn't do it for me.
Okay, let's go to the second play, which involves Davante Adams makes the catch that we think is going to result in a tie. But instead, with 4.5 minutes to play, Josh McDaniels, whether it was his decision or some analytics person, decides to go for 2, which has me going, wow, really? And my really in it, Watson, was whether they scored the 2-point conversion or not, they were still going to have to stop Kansas City no matter what. So why do it?
There's nearly 5 minutes to go in the game. I mean, this game's long from over. That could be 3 or 4 more possessions. I mean, you get late in the game and everybody speeds up or whatever, tie the game. Tie the game and then make Kansas City be the aggressor. And that one blew my mind. You got to get the game. You don't want to be behind. That puts more pressure on you to have to catch up. Tie the game and then try to stop them. And then if they go down and score, then you react to that. But getting a stop and then getting the ball back to go down and score behind, I don't know. That one, of all the ones I've seen for the last few years with all this analytic stuff, that one blew my mind the most.
Okay.
Tie the game up, man.
Watson,
you're underdogs. Put the heat on the Chiefs.
Right. If they had scored the touchdown with 29 seconds left and then made the decision to go for 2,
different
I'd have been fine with that.
You want to go to overtime or do you want to try to end it right now?
Because McDaniels could say, if we go to OT, they have had so much, Kansas City has had so much success in overtimes. We don't want to do that. So we're going to go for 2. I would have had no problem with that. But with 5 minutes left in the game, I'm just like, who is calling the shots here?
Yeah. I 100% agree. They're the underdog. Tie the game. 4.5 minutes to go. I think it was 4:22 or something like that. 4.5 minutes to go. Put the pressure back on the Chiefs. When you go for 2 and don't make it, you haven't put any pressure on the Chiefs. Do you think that tied game or 1 point down, the Chiefs aren't going to go down and try to score? It wouldn't have changed the Chiefs' thought process whether the game's tied or the Chiefs are down 1, George. They're going to go try to score. And even down within 1 point ahead, the Raiders are moving the ball. The Chiefs aren't going to sit there and run it 3 times and punt it back to them. They're not going to do that. They're going to go down and try to get points. And that's also Andy Reid's mentality.
Yeah.
He is an aggressive guy. Here's a great example on me. I'm playing Mississippi State. We're tied. We make them punt.
Now, where are you?
I'm in
UAB.
I've beaten them in Starkville the year before. I've got them tied in Birmingham with 33 seconds to go. They punt it to my 40. My quarterback had gotten knocked out of the game in the last series before that. So we got the ball. We got 33 seconds. Instead of me being aggressive, we probably got to gain about 25 yards to have a chance to win it. Instead of me being aggressive with 1 timeout left, I run a screen play, don't work, and I end up just running the clock out and going to overtime. I look back on that. I was an idiot.
Did you get booed?
No, but I got eat up after the game.
Yeah.
I don't remember getting booed because it was a big night for our fans and we were in it and had a chance to win it. We did take them to overtime. We lost in overtime, by the way. But I got eat up later and I deserve to. I look back on it now. Go for it, man. You're the we were 20-point underdog.
The first time you've talked about this one.
No, I know, and it's hurt me. This one has hurt me, and it was at the end of my career there. It was my last year at UAB, and then I left and went to Tennessee Tech, and that one hurts. So I'm not sitting here taking shots at coaches. I've done stupid stuff myself, but I am taking shots at this analytics. And George, before we finish, the reason I'm not for analytics has no idea what the weather is. They have no idea how I've moved the ball against that defense up till that point. They have no idea my player against their player. If I'm playing against the Georgia defense, I might have a different mindset than I do if I'm playing against the Memphis defense or whatever. They have no idea anything. They have no idea if it's raining cats and dogs and I've got 4th and 2 and I'm going to go for it instead of trying to kick a field goal. Analytics is on paper. Paper is not the game itself. The competition of player against player, offense against defense, freezing cold weather. They have no idea that it's been raining the whole game and we've already fumbled 4 times and the other team has fumbled 3 times. It's a sloppy, wet ball. I mean, I don't understand how an analytic, you would listen to that over all the things that have happened in the game up till that point. I don't understand that.
Great stuff. We'll go to the break, Watson. We may have some fast adjusting to do with Plaster bet of the day.
I know the adjustment. You know it's a big game. Ain't no way you ain't taking the Braves. Ain't no way.
Stick around. This is Main Street Media Television. Oh, hey. Where you been?
George, I have been busy, man. I had a new agent meeting yesterday, and I was already lamenting the loss from game 1. But I feel like that now that we've got the weather coming through, it's going to give some new life to the Braves. They had that rest, and now they're getting woke back up, and they'll come out ready to play this evening.
Yes, and Plaster bet of the day will come up after this, and you may want to see it. So tell me what is going on in the housing world right now. I hear all kinds of different stuff, and I don't really know what's what right now other than interest rates are through the roof.
Well, interest rates are through the roof. I mean, as far as compared to 2 years ago, but are they through the roof compared to what a normal market would be? The answer is no. When your interest rates are sitting at, 6 to 7%, that honestly is about where the average market is going to be. Now, George, I've never professed to be a lender, and I never will. But I do have good people that are around me that know the lending game in and out. And, just like yesterday, I was sitting there talking with, a lender and in a new agent meeting, and basically learned that sellers have the option now to do buy down points for a buyer. Now, what that can do is that they basically can say, well, if the rate is at 7% or at 6.99 from what I've heard today, if the rate is at 6.99, the seller can offer a concession to a buyer to get that rate bought down for the first year and also for the second year. Now, that rate can go down to 4.99 and then go back up to 5.99 on the second year. But that 4.99 and that 5.99 give the buyer a break, so to speak, waiting for that interest rate to fall. Now, it's not a guarantee that the interest rate is going to fall back down to the 3s or the 4s or whatever. But let's just say that they get locked into a 6.99 rate for a 30-year mortgage. Well, with this buy down rate from the seller, they could actually, if the rate came down to 5, they could lock in on that 5% and save themselves almost 2% on the interest rate and still be able to get the house at a great deal, which is what we're seeing right now. The sellers are making concessions because they know that the buyers are having trouble affording the home that they were looking at because the interest rates fluctuate. So, things like what we're talking about right now, George, these are things that we do every day. This is what makes my business run is the interest rates, keeping up with it, keeping a finger on the pulse with knowing good lenders, knowing good title companies. All these things come into factor when buying a home. So if you're going out there and you're wanting to buy a property, you're wanting to buy a home, you want to take that next step, call the people that care. Call the people that are actually working on this day in, day out, trying to make sure that you get the best deal possible. We have great lenders that are partnered with us. We have a great title company that we work with. We have the people to get you settled into your new home and your new property. All you got to do is give us a call.
Well done. Well said. We'll do it again tomorrow.
George, thank you. Go Braves.
Bingo. Plaster Bet of the Day is coming up next.
Serving Williamson and surrounding counties, Bone and Joint Institute of Tennessee offers comprehensive orthopedic care with 16 subspecialized physicians. Our practice provides high-tech care with a hometown touch. We offer physician clinics, physical and occupational therapy, advanced imaging, and surgical services, including interventional procedures. Call us at 615-791-2630. We're Bone and Joint Institute of Tennessee. High-tech care with a hometown touch.
This is attorney Bart Durham, and this is me. I'm Aaliyah. Keeping in good physical condition is really important to me. But when I had a wreck with a tractor trailer truck that hurt my legs so bad I couldn't work for almost a year, I knew I needed a lawyer that understood tractor trailer cases. So I called Bart. Bart gets millions of dollars for his clients every year.
At Bart Durham Injury Law, we've handled hundreds of tractor trailer cases.
My dad and I want to help. Give us a call at 615-242-9000.
The high school football season is here, and nobody handles Friday nights better than Main Street Media. Here's Zach Womble with details.
That's the name of the game here at Main Street Media and Main Street Preps. Is, we've been doing this for a long time now, and I think you hit on it. We've got an army of reporters across all of Middle Tennessee. I think there's about 130 schools in the Middle Tennessee area, and we try to cover all of them. We cover about 11, 12 counties at this point. And those Friday night shows, it's we're gonna show that off. We're gonna showcase the talent that we have on the field with reporters across several mid-state games on the weekly basis. So whether you're in Williamson County, whether you're in Giles County or Murray County or Montgomery or Robertson or anywhere in between, we're gonna have you covered from 6 to 11.
Friday Night Live is presented by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, where fans don't let fans drive drunk.
At Sumner Funeral and Cremation, our mission is to serve families as our own, celebrate the life of their loved one, and help begin the healing process.
My whole family, including my wife and my mom and siblings, were very happy with the treatment that we received. I would highly recommend Sumner Funeral and Cremation.
We offer funeral, burial, cremations, and pre-planning services.
Sumner Funeral and Cremation. Traditional, affordable, dignified. SumnerFuneral.com.
Welcome to the Omni Nashville Hotel. Urban elegance with a vintage touch. Our 800-room hotel opened up in the fall of 2013 with 746 guest rooms and 54 suites.
Hey everyone, I'm John English. This is Keith Wallace, and we would like to welcome you to John English Antique Sports and Cards in Shelbyville, Tennessee. We specialize in graded and ungraded sports and non-sports cards, vintage wax boxes, and unopened cases. We have a large selection of PSA graded cards. We also specialize in old sports collectibles, baseball, football, basketball, golf, and tennis. You can find it all at John English Antique Sports and Cards. We are happy to be associated with Nashville's greatest sports antique, George Plaster.
And I'm happy to be associated with Plaster's Bet of the Day, as that is coming right up. But it's all powered by Bart Durham Injury Law. They bring it to you every day here on the Plaster Bet of the Day. They've aggressively protected the rights of a broad range of victims of car accidents and personal injury in both Tennessee and Kentucky. If you too have seen your life interrupted by an injury on a highway, in a hospital, or at your workplace, let their attorneys do the work fighting for the full financial compensation that you need. Learn more about Bart Durham Injury Law by logging on to bartdurham.com. And before we get to the reveal of George's bet of the day, let's get to his results. Last night, George, you got to win with the Yankees, and that was an interesting game last night.
Yeah, Josh Donaldson almost blew it for me.
Almost.
He thought a ball got out of the park, and it didn't, and he just sort of lollygagged a second and got tagged out.
That was as close as it gets.
Yeah. Anyway, I had the Yankees minus a run and a half, and that was good, and we need more, and we need it tonight. Watson, here is tonight's Plaster bet of the day.
Oh. He's going with him, Watson.
100%.
Now, let me say this. You got to take the run and a half out. Because that line is straight up. It is not minus a run and a half.
I just checked FanDuel. It said minus a run and a half.
Well, they can.
Well, wait now. You can't just – that's what they did to me the other day in underdogs. I mean, Billy cut me off when I wanted another half a point.
You know,
I just checked FanDuel. I promise you.
I don't care what FanDuel has to say.
Who are you going by?
Plaster betting service. That's what he's going by, right?
Well, hold on. I'm trying to pull it up right now just to see what in the world.
So that's why you won last night.
No. What this has, minus a run and a half, would be plus 160.
Okay, so I got the minus 144.
You got that a little wrong. Zach Wheeler is a stud. This is not going to be easy. Zach Wheeler is also from Atlanta and has had a history of sticking it down their throat. Kyle Wright, Watson, who I have always been a big fan of.
Yeah, buddy, you sure have.
He needs to come through tonight.
Short memory. It's amazing.
Or else that might be changing.
So how's the sun peeking in up there?
We're fixing to get flooded just like y'all just been through. It's just about to get to Cookville.
Let me say this. It gets through quick.
Yeah.
Because we looked outside 20 minutes ago. For those who were watching it live around 4 o'clock, 4:15, man, it came flying through here, but pretty much it turned to drizzle by 5:15. Watson, that may be the good thing is it'll get through quick.
Yeah, but it's dark. We're about the time we get off the air, I think it's going to get us.
Tomorrow we have underdog picks. My attempt to continue a standard of excellence, 0.0.
0.0.
Yeah.
Does the streak stay alive?
I don't know. I'm tired of it. Watson, you behave until then.
Can't wait till tomorrow, babe.
Billy, you try to behave as well.
I will. But, George, real quick, the Braves are 16-1, and Kyle Wright starts since June 23rd.
Thank you for sharing
Take that for what it's worth.
Watson, try to stay awake. This is a big game.
That Kyle Wright, Billy, that can't play a lick. Get rid of the dude. Get him out of here. What are we doing?
Was that during the radio days or?
That was definitely during the radio.
We need to find
the radio days, and I'm telling you, it was constant. Every time the boy pitched.
If we looked at his radio record, it wasn't all that good.
Radio.
I didn't say it was. But all of a sudden now, he's got to be. You're hugging him tonight, babe. Please, Kyle.
We need him.
He's like, George, don't go back to radio.
Listen, rest well.
See you tomorrow.
We're done. We've had a lot of fun today. Analytics took us to a totally new level of out of control. We'll regain composure tomorrow. This is Main Street Media Television.